Hello and welcome to another video. Today I wanted to showcase a game that I played last night with MortyMaine. He's playing as the Georgians in green, and I am playing as the Goths in blue. We are on the map Lombardia. We are playing against Red, who is Marcel Sans, is the Britons. We are also playing against Desve Mix as the Spanish. So one thing about this map is you start really far away from your enemies and really close to your allies. So our TCs are close together, and we're like on the complete opposite side of the map from our enemy. We also start with extra cows, more cows than normal. You have the same amount of berries, boars, and deer as normal. But those extra cows mean you do get extra food. Usually what you try to do is just wall up around yourself and your ally, and then a lot of times people go scouts in feudal age because scouts can get across the map quickly. Archers are less common because archers or men-at-arms, for example, take too long to walk across the map. By then the enemy should be walled. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, Morty already lost his scout to Red's TC, but we did find where he's at. I've got a pretty terrible wall over here because it's nice and wide open. I don't really have another wood line right here to wall to. That would save me some walling. But Morty's got a little bit easier time walling over here. The idea is we'll attack in feudal age. And you can see Red is already on his way up to feudal age. Red is the Britons, so the Britons are an archer civ. The yellow is the Spanish, so that's a civ that could do scouts, could also do castles and conquistadors. And then in Imperial Age, it's very versatile. They could do paladin, they could do hand cannons, they could do champions, they could do pretty much anything. Looks like red and yellow are talking to each other in Espanol. So if you know Espanol, maybe you know what they're saying, but I don't. Meanwhile, Morty's going to try to get this wall off, and then I may actually be able to get this wall up. I am going to just end up going fast castle, despite saying I was going to go fast feudal. Because I don't know, that's just what ends up happening. I'm sorry, I play a lot of arena, and somehow that's all I know. So even when I'm trying to go feudal, somehow I ended up going fast castle again. This is the only scout we have, and I'm not even moving it, so oops. We don't have a lot of information right now. We do think they did get to feudal quickly, so we think, well, they're probably got army. But, believe it or not, there's not any army. Red has a barracks, but he doesn't have an archery range. Yellow has a market and a blacksmith, but he does not have a barracks or stable or anything of the sort. So there's not going to be any aggression in feudal age in this game, which is kind of good because I'm already almost a castle age. Yellow is almost a castle age. It's not too terribly surprising for I am trying to be a little annoying with this scout now that I remembered I have it. Yeah, it's not too terribly surprising that Spanish is going fast castle. You know, that one of their favorite plays is making a castle and conquistadors, which are hard to deal with. But he's not going to do that just yet. He is on stone, so he probably will do that eventually. But right now, he's going to go for the boom approach. I am also doing the same. Red is on his way up to castle age, and now green is as well. Green actually hasn't taken his boar yet, but it hasn't really affected his timings all that much. Maybe a little bit, I guess a little bit, because he is the last to castle age, but he'll get that boar eventually. Yeah, they're definitely talking a lot to each other. Morty and I are in Discord, so you're not going to see our chats. Red is trying to wall up with stone walls, but the front of their base is just wide open. If either of us had chosen to go scouts, for example, we could have got so much damage. Just imagine like 3 or 4 scouts on these berry villagers, they'd be running. And then over here on the wood, on this wood, this stone, Yellow does have a lot of TCs, but there's still some open areas we could have hit. But we're not doing that. We're just booming at the moment. So I've got second town center. Morty is getting his second town center up as well. Red's got 2 TCs. Yellow has 3. Villager lead currently for yellow, followed by red and blue. I'm going to go out and build a castle on the front here. I have been bitten by doing these outside castles before, sending these villagers out, not realizing there's a butt ton of enemy army here. But I did at least bring a couple of pikes over here, just in case there was army. So far, not a lot of action. Red's still slowly getting this wall up. The front of their base is still wide open. If we just had any... oh, Morty's telling me where I could build a TC. I'm complaining because I don't really have a great spot to put TCs. Because, again, I didn't have a wood line here. And I'm trying to tell him that, look, there's so many hills here, I can't build a TC. Best I can do is, like, get kind of close, you know what I mean? Anyways, so that's the story there. Got the castle, which means I could get my unique tech and make Huskarls out of the barracks, but don't really need it yet. I've only got 1 barracks, so that really only makes sense if you got multiple barracks. But red is making a castle. Yellow already has his, along with the 3 TCs. Red's still only on 2. Morty has built a 3rd as well, and I'm just now getting that 3rd up because, again, I spent too much time complaining about where to build it. Red's still going out for some outer stone walls to enclose their base. My scout managed to get in, so we do see a fair amount in here, and that's actually a 4th TC from yellow, and red now has 3. So they're doing a better boom now. 96 villagers for yellow, 72 for red. Oh, 74 for me, 68 for Morty. So yellow's getting out ahead there with that 4th TC, no doubt. Red is actually on his way to Imp. I'm just now getting some infantry upgrades. Morty's getting wheelbarrow. Actually, yellow's going up to Imp as well. Alright, so Morty brought some knights, and I've got some pikes. We're looking for a place to fight. And we're seeing red's got walls everywhere. But we do think, well, it's probably still open at the top, but it's not. Well, it is open right here, and that's where we managed to get in. So this is when the fighting starts. I'm getting the infantry upgrades again, making some more houses, more barracks. Morty's got the knights in on yellow. He is fighting under the TCs, but he's getting a few villager kills. There are conquistadors, which is kind of what we expected, although it's kind of late. But I guess that's all that yellow has at this point. He doesn't really have any other military buildings other than these 2 castles. So they are clearing up our forward army here. Although green's doing a pretty good job of running these units around. So now there's nothing to kill these. He's getting free kills out here. Red is showing that he's going longbows, and the longbows are the archer unit he makes out of the castle. And I'm like, well, don't tempt me with a good time. I can go Huskarls. So I'm bringing some Huskarls in here, which will wreck the longbows. Meanwhile, Morty's still getting some great damage over here on Red's TC. He has not garrisoned this TC, so he doesn't know that this is getting raided. Red is down to 55 villagers. Morty at 84. I'm at 96. Yellow is at 110. I'm getting some decent hits on the conquistadors, but we're not killing them. And I did pull some Huskarls in over here, but the longbows keep retreating to the castles. And now that I have a bunch of Huskarls, the conquistadors come over here. And, you know, I'd rather fight conquistadors with pikes than Huskarls, but it is what it is. It's all I have, and the rest of my army has to come from across the map. So, you know, it would be nice if I built some forward production buildings, but we just have not gotten to that point yet. This is now the only open spot on their base. Our base is somewhat closed. Might have an exposed TC out there, but we do continue to fight out here. Morty's going to build a forward castle inside of their base to try to force the issue. I think we forgot that they're both already in Imperial Age, so in retrospect, that probably wasn't the greatest play, because this castle will just get trebbed down by someone. As soon as they see it, they're going to be like, okay, well, let me make some trebs. But they're both still making their unique units in their castles, the Conquistadors and the Longbows. Yellow has at least made a couple of stables at this point. So I've switched to pikes now to try to fight the Conquistadors. So of course now's when the Longbows show up. And now I'm like, okay, well, let me try to bring some Huskarls back over. And they go back into the castle. So decent play on his part. I'll just sort of bang away at things underneath and eventually lose that army because I don't care about it. Meanwhile, where is Yellow? I know Yellow had some Conquistadors. Oh, there they are in the back of Red's base. So Red did get pretty well damaged by that. I've taken decent fights against the Longbows here, but the Conquistadors came over to save the day. And now I'm hitting away at this town center. Gradually going to lose that army. Now we're basically all full boomed at this point, except for Red, who did get hit by Morty's raid pretty good. So he's at 74 villagers. The rest of us are over 100. Morty 100. I'm 106, and Yellow is 104. Finally going to get a couple of pikes in on there, but yeah, it's not enough to do anything. And these are not moving fast enough to get in on this many conks. It's got 35 Conquistadors. Morty's trying to build another forward castle. That is an aggressive move, but guess what? We got trebs right here, so it's probably not going to stay up if it goes up, and it may not even go up because look at all these Conquistadors. That's going to be a problem for those villagers and for all the army, which I don't have a lot because apparently I've lost it to the castle and the TC. Morty retreats those villagers. He's still got 6 or 7 of them. I'm hoping to get that castle up at some point, but it's not looking likely at this point. Yellow taking some fights under the castle to try to get these trebs that Morty's making, because Morty was able to make it to Imp. I have not made it to Imp because I've been streaming Army to their deaths. So I do have the spam fully going at this point, but they got to walk across the map, and then they seem to just fight immediately, and rather than group up and like get into a bigger mass. So right now I'm trying to group up a little bit better, so that I can mass an army before engaging. Meanwhile, the castle up here is playing a good role to provide backup, have a good staging point here, but it's not going to be a position we're going to be able to hold for long. Now that they both are bringing trebs. Red's got a treb, Yellow's got a treb, Red's got another treb. Yellow's got 43 Conquistadors and 17 light cav, which could be Hussars at some point. I do move in with the pikes, thinking, okay, let me at least force this fight. I don't think I realized how much was over here, because I'm definitely not going to win that fight, even though pikes are good against the cav. And he's doing a good job of running my pikes around while the Conquistadors get free hits. And now the Longbows pop out and help out as well. These pikes also dive to their deaths, and at this point we need to recognize that we need to evacuate our forward area and start a second staging area. Hopefully this army that's in here can at least distract them long enough for us to regroup. We're deciding to regroup on this hill out here. Morty's going to build a castle there. I'm regrouping my army to the front of that castle. But they are able to kill that army, and if they move forward right away, it could be a problem here. Morty might not get that castle up if they come out here. But so far, they're staying back. Again, this is a huge army from Yellow. He's got 68 military units, 4 trebs. We've actually got champions from Red, which are going to be great against my pikes and pretty good against my Huskarls. And he's got longbows in the back, so pretty good comp for him. If they would fight together, it would be even better. But the way they're doing it now, trying to pull them back to the castle, hoping it gets up before the fight gets engaged. Not quite. But now it's up. Gonna at least kill some of these champions. I'm gonna try to get in on these hussars. But this is a big army, and those are a lot of trebs. So even this forward position looks like it's not going to last. Let's see. I did eventually get to Imperial Age, so that's one reason why the army production slowed a little bit, but also because the army I was making would stream to their deaths before massing up. Morty's regrouping. He's going to make some archery ranges, so I think he's thinking skirmishers. Actually, skirmishers would be good against both the longbows and the conquistadors. Now he's actually got cavalier, and that's that's not bad against the champions and the longbows, but we're kind of getting squished in here with the conquistadors and the hussars. And then my units weren't really fighting the way they should either. So now that Morty's units are dead, my units start to show up. So we could have done a little better on coordinating that. But we are going to lose that fight. Morty has another round of Cavalier. Hopefully they don't go in too soon, because my units are not ready yet. Yeah, okay, good. We're getting a little more deliberate here. I'm trying to switch into infantry of my own, but I've only got longswords at this point, and I have to go through the upgrades to get them up to two-handed swordsmen and then champions. So Red was thinking about putting a castle on this hill. He had sent some villagers, but yeah, actually that's where the Red castle was going to go. They're hoping to push this position, but I don't think they realize you're starting to bring the trebs forward right to where our gathering point for our units are. So these trebs, that's 6 trebs, but easy pickings for the new army over here, and we'll actually fight this back. Morty has enough cavaliers here. 24 cavaliers, and I have enough infantry mixed in. We're able to take care of the trebs. Morty's in on the champions. The longbows are gone. The conquistadors are running. So we actually survived this fight on the hill. So we're able to push back there. Red never was able to even get his villagers up to this castle. I have 129 villagers, so I think that's, at this point, that's officially an overboom. 127 for yellow, so not too far off for him. Red has not recovered from the raid Morty did on him earlier, so he recovered a little bit, I guess. He's up to 71 villagers, but he's had plenty of time to get back to 100. He even built a second base over here, so that's actually 4 TCs for him. Red is building another castle here. Since he's going longbows, that makes a lot of sense. Morty and I are gathering another army on the hill, getting ready for the next fight. Meanwhile, we're just readjusting our ecos a little bit. We're actually open here. I've got some trade carts because I've been kind of lacking on the gold. Getting my lumber upgrade. Morty's getting the skirmisher, elite skirmisher upgrade. I think I'm coming over here to maybe do another lumber camp or something. I don't know where those villagers are going. Doesn't seem to show me. Since there's not really any action, I guess we could speed it up. Wow, they're going the long way around. Oh, there's the lumber camp they're building. Okay. So yellow's building some outposts out the front. I'm moving forward with my army. Morty's coming in from behind. So another big fight out here. Let's slow this down a little bit. Morty's got skirms behind. Skirms are going to be great against the pikes. They're going to be great against the longbows. So, and the conquistadors, which there are still a handful of those. They will be vulnerable to hussars, but I've got enough pikes of my own in here, theoretically. Um, although the red's pikes are able to get in. Um, Yellow's still making outposts out here to get some vision. I think he's hoping to get another side attack in from the other direction. This has been the main point of attack from this hill to this hill so far this entire game. Meanwhile, just trying to back up and keep the units well positioned for the fight. I'm trying to move the Huskarls in for the longbows. I know they have to run through a few conquistadors, but I figure it's worth it to kill some longbows. And then they can stick around and kill some of these skirms as well. Yeah, so it looks like we're coming out on top on that fight for the moment. Yellow still has this villager only on 11 HP, so if it runs into another wolf, it's game over for that villager. But yeah, he's scoping out what's up here, and he's gonna realize that we don't have anything up here. It's nice and open. He could build another base and start attacking from up there. Meanwhile, we're still fighting out on the main front here. I do have a bunch of Huskarls, but don't know what to do with them at the moment because the longbows are hiding behind this wall. We don't really have a way to get through that wall at the moment. I do think about maybe just breaking through this house. I did not spot these 9 villagers moving forward to this stone. But I am able to get through on yellow. So it would be nice if I had a few more pikes in here for these cavalry, but I think the Huskarls will hold their own there for a minute at least. What is up with the monks? Okay, red's monk from behind the wall. So again, we're having issues with the wall. So red still has this castle up here he'd never built. And we haven't really addressed the fact that there's a wall we can't get through. But I am noticing that yellow is sending a bunch of hussar forward, and I'm like, oh crap, I know exactly where they're going. They're going to go to my base and kill my villagers because I'm still open. And you know, just a handful of hussars over in my eco can be quite a problem. So I'm now thoroughly distracted. I've got army here, I've got army here, I've got army deep inside over here, got some army over here. Morty has cavalier here, skirmishers here. So we're still all up over the front of their base, but yellow he's even got this freaking outpost on the side of my base, and he sees that we are fully exposed and not taking that area. So he's going to take advantage of that soon. No doubt. I do spot these villagers and start to send some army over here. I do kill some of the outposts, recognizing that they're there. Unfortunately, I moved these pikes the wrong direction. I was like, oh, let me protect this area, and then the hussars show up over there. And they're fighting some Huskarls, which, you know, it's not going to be a great fight for the Huskarls. And my gather point is over here, thinking I'm going to kill whatever's out there, but unfortunately it is already pretty close. Meanwhile, we still have the fight inside the base. Morty has 28 skirmishers in here. Now the longbows, what's good about the British longbows is that they have really long range, so they can outrange the skirmishers. So although skirmishers technically will beat an archer unit, if the archer unit is able to get the first several shots off before the skirm can even shoot one, then, you know, so that's a problem. So again, it's only 4 hussars, okay, but it's causing me, this entire part of my eco, to be garrisoned into CCs or be killed. I had 127 villagers not that long ago, and somehow I've lost 20 in the last few minutes. I also sent some units out here for some wood because I ran out of wood. Actually, this was my main wood, and it's all gone now. Meanwhile, did we kill the hussars? We might have killed the hussars. Meanwhile, there's still a fight on the front. Morty's a trooper over here fighting on the front. Unfortunately, fighting halbs at the moment, so not the greatest time to look in on that fight. But Red is switching into heavy cavalry as well, so he's got Cavalier and Pikemen. This raid is over. Like I said, I was probably overboomed, so this 114 villagers that I'm at now is probably better than that 127 that I had earlier. But it is what it is. So Hussar is actually coming over to this side. Morty's trying to go out for another wood line as well. I'll be able to take a good amount of this wood before they find me, but they're probably going to find me and clear that up eventually. Basically, pike v pike over here, longbows versus skirms here. So again, skirms have the bonus damage against archers, but the archers have greater range. So it's kind of a wash on that. These hussar are just positioned for a future attack at some point. Meanwhile, we got 15 cavalier. They are looking to bring some devastation, and they will if they ever get forward. So one thing I'm noticing is that the population count, they're only at 350, we're at 390, so we're essentially pop capped. So that is one problem I've been having, is that, I'll send all my army this way. I'll be pop capped while these are waiting for a fight. And then, as the enemy shows up, like here, for example, I can't make more army. So now yellow has hand cannons. So we've seen Paladin, hand cannon, and Conquistador from yellow. And now Morty's coming in with the skirms to try to kill the hand cannons. I evacuated those villagers. They're all headed over to the other side of the map. Yeah, gonna build a lumber camp there. Not realizing that there's Paladin just waiting to come back in again and kill them like they did the last villagers that were taking wood there. So these hand cannons have been cleared up, but there is another fight coming in over here, and we need to regroup for it. Now yellow's swooping around the north side of my base, where it is still unwalled. Now, one thing to mention, Goths do not get stone walls, so stone wall here would be nice, but I don't even get stone walls, so at best I could do palisade walls. Yeah, now he's in my base with 13 Cavalier. I am going to garrison the TCs and try to kill some of them, but it's going to be difficult. Meanwhile, there's hand cannons, longbows, pikes out here for Morty to deal with. He started to make some rams, which is a good idea. I've still got some units over here. Meanwhile, still getting wrecked over here. I'm down to 88 villagers. I was, before this started, at like 114 or so. So I am killing these Cavalier a little bit. There's only a handful left, but I don't even know if this is enough halbs to kill those. I think I need a few more halbs, which means, 2 Paladin are left free range on these 21 villagers. This TC is still garrisoned, although there's nothing under it anymore. Yellow's going to try to make a castle forward. Morty's doing a play with the rams. One thing about the Britons, people like to say Britons die to rams. And the reason is archers do almost no damage to rams. So if you can just get the rams out in front, then the archers will attack the rams while your units can close the distance and get in on them. Unfortunately, because of these raids, Morty has had to fight on his own. My gather point is up here, trying to protect against the next round of raids. Down to 75 villagers, so now I'm down to where Red was after Morty's raid on him earlier. Let's watch this fight here. Again, the longbows are attacking the rams. Good thing for yellow to have these pikemen here, because at least there's some melee damage to take these rams out. So that's actually a good play there. So running out of rams. Meanwhile, yellow is still massing stuff out there. I'm starting to send my units forward again, so now it's not just Morty on his own. There's still 2 Cavalier over here, or are they Paladin now? They're Paladin now. These Hussar are still just waiting to pounce. Alright, so Morty taking on the longbows over here. There's skirms here. Morty's got the Hussars for them. Great move. The hand cannons are a problem for my infantry, but the Hussar and the skirms will be good against those. So it's kind of difficult because there's so many different types of units. Morty's still got this 1 ram. Actually, no, he's got more rams. He's got 5 rams trying to load up here. And if I noticed these, I probably would have gone in to kill them, but instead they're going one at a time to their deaths. Alright, so now we're loading up the rams for the next fight. But I believe... No, I haven't noticed all this yet. So we haven't even seen this castle yet, let alone these barracks that yellow is making. He's making more barracks up here as well. So he's thinking, you know about my Cavalier raids. And in fact, I'm thinking, let me at least wall this shit up because I'm tired of stuff coming in from that side. But he's going to switch it up on me and go to infantry. Which champions will kill halberdiers pretty easily. I do got some Huskarls in here for these pikemen, but unfortunately not enough. So these 10 rams, good play, but unfortunately we needed more units from me, really, in here to kill these pikes, to make sure these rams stay alive. Now I'm going to try to make a play on the gate here, to try to get back in where we were fighting probably 20-30 minutes ago. Finally starting to clear up the pikemen, but unfortunately we're down to 3 rams after starting with 10, so this push is almost gone. And okay, so we didn't get the gate down, but we did get an opening of the gate, which did allow some Huskarls in to attack, and the skirms as well. Nice, okay. So we did get in, even if we didn't clear the gate up. So this is actually a pretty decent fight there. At this point, I actually do see that he has 2-handed swordsmen. And I have now spotted this castle. In fact, my army is dying to it as I walk across the map to try to get on over here. Now that clues me into what's coming eventually. I know to expect infantry. But it's just so much to deal with. I'm in over here on the wood line on yellow. There's the main fight at the front here where we're still walking in this gate, which has not been broken. We just keep getting let in. Morty's got the Hussars in. Oh, got another one group in. Now I see these units are already here, and they're going to break in pretty easily. I never really did boom back up that much after the last raid. Was at 127, then 114, then 75. Now I'm up to 87. Morty's down to 75, so I'm not sure what happened in there. I think maybe a Hussar or a Cavalier got in, or maybe it was the villagers down here got attacked. I don't know, but there's the counter attack up here, while Morty is still engaging deep inside of red space. I've actually got units down there too, though I don't realize it. I'm trying to do this attack on the side to kill this forward base, while also trying to defend a little bit against this, although at this point with this many champions, I expect to lose this TC and all the villagers around it, which is not great, but that TC will go down real fast. Those villagers are all sitting ducks now. So I need to um, make more army and send them this way. I do have champions now, and they're headed that way. If I could just get them to engage, preferably under this castle, that'd be amazing. But at least engage here. Down to 73 villagers. I did try to run those villagers towards the castle and towards this army. So I've had to invest in my own champions and send the army back while also doing this side attack here. Thankfully, Yellow's hand cannons were not paying attention. Morty is still somehow getting units into Red's base and tackling this castle. He's got hussars, skirms, and rams. So not bad. Unfortunately, pikemen, a couple of hussars. That's 50 pikemen. 50 pikemen! Yeah, that's a problem. Sure, champions are going to do great against pikemen. Sure, they die to TCs, but that's a lot of them. So it's going to take a while to kill all those. And boy, pikemen actually kill TCs when you got 50 of them. Well, good to know, I guess. And I didn't have enough champions in there to kill them either. Although, let's see, they are down to 22, so I did kill half of them. But I'm going to lose that TC too, so I lost this TC and all the vills. Lost the monastery with the relics. Losing another TC here, so I am an absolute wreck. Down to 43 villagers at this point. And I don't have a lot of eco to maintain another, army, so I can't really participate in the fight Morty's got going over here on the front, where they're still just back and forth over this gate. He finally gets the gate down so he can get in more freely. The hand cannons finally notice that I'm over here, and they're going to probably clear up this army. And they've got a big army back here, but I'm down to 28 villagers. 28 villagers. And I don't have the resources to build another TC. I have to actually beg Morty for some stone. Oh, Red is actually asking, hey, is this GG? So that's good to know. I'm reeling from these attacks. Oh, no. Okay, just one weak Hussar, 20 HP Hussar, has made it into Morty's base. And this weak Pikeman, 4 HP Pikeman, has lost sight of him, so is no longer attacking him. That might be something that will come back to haunt us. We'll see. So Morty's still engaging in this attack on the front. It looks like Yellow didn't respond about whether they should GG. So I think Yellow's in a dominant position on me. But I think Morty's in a dominant position on Red. But he doesn't have any support from me, and I think he could use that support, especially now that Red's showing up with champions of his own. Those are going to wreck the skirms that Morty has. There's a few pikemen in there to kill the hussars. So that's going to be a problem. I tried to clear up this forward base. Do I even know about this one yet? I don't know about that one yet. I am trying to rebuild some town centers. But I was down at 28 villagers. Now I'm at 34, so I'm trying to, regroup. These Hussar came in. Thankfully, they didn't spot this lone villager making the TC, and they'll die to this army. Meanwhile, Morty's army got cleared up on the front again. There's a side attack here. Mercado, I think that means market. So he's probably saying we should use the market. Maybe they're lacking gold. I don't see a lot of gold in their base, so that's probably what the issue is. Red has only got 33 villagers, so all this fighting that Morty's done on the front has really wrecked Red, actually even worse than I am at this point. We do not realize that. We definitely don't realize how bad Red has been wrecked. Maybe Morty knows because he's been deep inside Red for a lot longer than I have. I've been distracted by all this crap from Yellow. But thankfully I've got a second TC up. Got a third almost up. And my fights are over here on the side. Got some units out here. Forgot about them, to be honest. These longbows will probably take care of them. But Morty's having to regroup. There's still these Hussar over here that haven't done anything, and this weak Hussar that has been forgotten about. So yellow and red are still talking to each other. Maybe they're talking about trading. Yeah. So he's got trade carts going across the map now. He's even got villagers forward. These 12 villagers, which I may find eventually. Morty's coming over to here to help me clear up this base that yellow has. So I guess he needs to regroup to make another army here as well. Don't know what they're saying to each other, unfortunately. Morty is using the market to get some gold. So prices are not good right now. He's selling the 500 food to get 70 gold. So that's pretty terrible rates there. A lot of pikemen here, so Morty probably shouldn't engage until those are cleared. But I don't think either one of us have seen this fight. Our attention is elsewhere. There's still longbows here. But yeah, I think we're going to lose that fight for sure. I did have some champions in there, and I've got some more over here. Well, there's mostly pikes and a couple of Huskarls, so I don't think that would win that fight. But I'm gathering for another round. Trying to protect my insides again. And reboom. I'm up to 58 villagers, which is great. Red is rebooming as well. He's up to 50. Yellow is 78 villagers, so he's taken a little bit of a hit as well, and he probably hasn't noticed. Same as Morty, actually. Morty had over 100 villagers earlier. He's sitting at 73, and he's been sitting at 73 for a while, so I think he's forgotten that he's lost some villagers and could afford to make some more. Red sending an attack over this way. Little does he know we don't really have anything over here anymore. Although I do have... these are part of my production, so I am sending units across the map from there. So he will be able to take that. They're moving forward with pikes, skirms, and longbows on this side. This army's moving back while this army's moving forward, so, just passing there. Okay, those Hussar will get taken care of by these pikes, hopefully. Or, halberdiers, sorry. Going to take out that outpost. 57 pikes. There's more over here, so more than 60 pikes if I wanted to remember to use them. Meanwhile, yellow still has these Hussar. It's mainly a trash army at this point, except for the longbows and the champions from red. Now, do we see... Are we just passing again, or are we going to actually engage? Because I've definitely got 60 units to his 35, so could take that. Although I don't want to take it under the castle. Okay, yeah, we'll take that. I should win that fight. Honestly, I don't really have any business fighting over here, especially not by myself. I should be fighting up here, but I don't think I realize... Yeah, I still don't realize yellow has this base up here. So I'm just fighting wherever I think I can. Wherever I see army, I'm like, okay, I can engage that. Meanwhile, Morty is going hand cannons now. Hand cannons and skirms. I did take that fight and win it, but now I'm going to fight longbows, pikes, and champions, so I'm going to lose that pretty handily and have to remake an army with only a 63 vil economy. Meanwhile, Morty is down to 53. Okay, so the skirms came in, killed some villagers that were, I think they were trying to take wood over here. So Morty's just gradually lost villagers, and I think he just doesn't notice. He's been focusing so much on the fight. He's had to take the brunt of the fights over here, the main fights on the front, while I've been kind of distracted with the raids that have been coming to the side of my ass. And then now is when I finally realize there's a whole nother base over here. I sent just a couple of pikes just to see what's out here, and look what they find. So now I know where my next army's going to go. Although 26 yellow skirms, the side of Morty's base, could be a problem if he notices. Do have a pretty big army out on the front here, so we could engage again. Um, these Hussar, that's actually 10 Hussar versus 28 skirms. We'll see how that goes. But I'm assuming the Hussar will win that. Because Hussar are a very good counter against skirms. Oh yeah, the Hussar has only lost one Hussar so far. And all of these skirms are dying. So yeah. So what was that? 28 skirms versus 10 Hussar. The Hussar lose one and take all of the skirms. Meanwhile, fighting again on the front, and I'm sending units over here to kill these vills and to kill these buildings because I don't want any more units coming into the side of my base. I'm up to 66 villagers, so I'm at least rebooming a little bit. That's about the same as red. Yellow's 91, so he's more than Morty at this point. In fact, Morty is less than I am, but he doesn't realize it still, I don't think. Although, now's when the Hussar get in. Those 5 Hussar that have been sitting here all game, have decided to come in. While we're engaged in a big fight on the front, which honestly might not be that bad for us. I think we might do well in this fight. Unfortunately, these Hussar, Morty's not going to notice. They're just going to get a free raid in on Morty. And probably kill the rest of his villagers. Oh no. At this point, though, we are an hour and a half into this game, so we've got, or at least he's got a lot of resources, so he can dig into that stockpile for a while. And, you know, these 7 rams gonna bust that gate. There's enough army behind it. The hand cannons to kill the infantry. We've also got the Hussar in there as well. Gonna go in for the castle. So this is a big let's just end this game fight. I'm still just sort of pecking away at these buildings over here, keeping him distracted. But my army is flooding forward to the main fight at this point. As is Morty's. He's sending another round of Hussars in. Got the Rams. There's only 5 of them now on the castle. But unfortunately, these Hussar have killed his eco. He's down to 37 villagers. This Hussar is still working away on these villagers. So he's getting raided and he doesn't know it. Yellow's going to lose these buildings eventually. Not sending anything else up there until I see him fighting back, because those will kill freely. I'm telling Morty I think we should kill Red's castles, because he's going longbows. And I think he's thinking, let's go for eco. So we're kind of discussing it, but we do at least still have a large army here. He's going to go in for Yellow's castle. And again, he's getting attacked over here freely. He's down to 30 villagers. I don't know where they are. Oh, now's when he noticed. He garrisoned the TCs. So he's got basically no villagers working right now. And, oh, okay. Yeah, so it's got like no villagers working. But it doesn't bother him that much though, because we did kill that castle, and we still got these 4 rams. We're so far inside of red and yellow over here that and he's got enough resources in the bank that losing all those villagers actually frees up pop space for him. So if you look at the overall pop count, you can see that we have a dominant position on the military, 209 versus 47. Sure, they actually do have more villagers at this point, because Morty's down to 14, 12, 11, about to be under 10. Down to 9 villagers. 9 villagers, okay. And now I've noticed, and I'm sending a couple of pikes to clear that up for him. Morty's got the hand cannons here. I've got some Huskarls. Morty's got Hussars. The Rams killing this red castle, so no more longbow. Even if he does have economy, he can't make the longbows if he doesn't have castles, so it's the main goal there. I've forgotten about these armies, unfortunately. But I think the attack here is actually turning this game around. In fact, we're closing in on the score lead after having been pretty far behind. Not sure exactly what they're saying. I know Malo is bad. Um, I think once we take this TC out, we'll take the score lead. Yep, we got the score lead now, and I think it's clear. I even cleared up this forward stuff from yellow. There is a fair amount of stuff over here. In fact, I'm sending a trebuchet over there to start pecking away at that. But the insides of red are completely wrecked. Sure, Morty got down to 9 villagers. He's up to 12 now after starting to make a few more. Red's only at 26, and he's got 1 TC over here and no farms. Morty's sending the Rams over to this castle on this side of Yellow's base. I think Red is saying bad games. The Trebs didn't do something. I don't know. I'm not your Spanish interpreter, unfortunately. I've still got a bunch of army up here I could use if I remembered. But now is when they are calling the GG. Now that we are up inside of Yellow's base and about to kill his castle. So, really long game. Honestly, Morty and I thought we had lost it a few different times. I'd lost my eco so many times. I was down to 28 villagers at one point. I got back up to 84 here at the end, but now I'm already running out of wood again. When you're running out of wood, you know it's a long game. Morty's only at 14 villagers here at the end. I think at the lowest he was down to 9. So, yeah, that was a little awkward. We both lost our bases, but we were able to finally put together a solid push together that got deep inside the enemy and ended that game. So, I don't know. That was honestly one of the better games we've had in a while. Take a look at the stats. Let's see. Look at the KD. Everybody had more than 1,000 kills. Morty had almost 1,000 deaths, and that was the fewest of all the deaths. So I had 1,500 deaths. So that's a lot of units that got created and killed. Also killed a lot of buildings. That's mostly with my infantry. I didn't really ever have any siege. Morty had the Rams and got in there and killed the eco at the end. And then, let's see, Army High. Oh, I had 135 Army. That must have been probably there at the end when I had only 85 villagers. So that's the thing. When you kill someone's villagers, if they've got a bunch of res, then they can just build a ton of army and use all that pop space on army. And then they can make a really big counterattack. And that's kind of what you saw here. Economy. I was trading, so that was actually where I got a lot of my gold. Red and yellow were trading as well. Morty, I think, only just started trading towards the end there. But overall, he and I both had a lot of res collected. Red was lower because, again, Red got lost a few villagers towards the beginning of those fights at the front of his base, and then I think he just sort of forgot that he'd lost those villagers and never rebuilt them. All of us were over 100 villagers at one point. In fact, it'll tell us here. Actually, okay, Red only got up to 91. But I overboomed at 132. Yellow overboomed at 143. Morty was pretty good at 109. And Red could have done a little more at 91. They were doing the trade more than we were. Red was making his castle units, and honestly, he should have made more castles. Let's look at the end. Okay. I was just seeing if he still had that castle foundation up here. Because if he did, then that was just a total waste of resources. I don't think he ever... Well, he might have built that second castle here in the end. Take a look at the text here. Yeah, I went with my normal fast castle. This was actually it was about a minute later than I would do on Arena, but that's because I was having to wall. Morty went fairly fast. Yellow definitely went fast. And then they got to Imp pretty quick. But didn't do a whole lot with it. Although Morty's forward castle into two Imp players did end up getting pushed back eventually, but not as fast as it could have. Main fights were definitely from this hill to this hill. We got in over here on red, then got pushed back, then got pushed back to this hill. Yellow sent all his trebuchets forward along with all the army, but we were able to kill it all and then start pushing back again. Yellow had the counter raids on me, first with the Hussar, then with the Cavalier, and then with the Champions and Pikemen, which was the almost the death blow for me. Um, I was fit to be tied, to be honest. There's just so much going on. And meanwhile, Morty's left over here fighting on his own. And then eventually, Yellow got a couple of Hussars in Morty's base and finished off most of his villagers there at the end. But yeah, good game.